Three.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wake Up with Haley, where we rise, shine, and live aligned. I'm so excited for our guest today. He is a good friend of mine, a trusted CFO consultant, Mr. Barry Blanton. Please welcome to the show this morning. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for getting up early and being here with us this morning. Before we jump in, Barry, I would like to just read a little snippet of your bio so everyone knows who you are in business and in our community. Barry is a key member of the business executive team for Blanton Advisors and adds years of financial, treasury, and administration experience without adding executive level overhead. Blanton Advisors offers experienced chief financial officer and executive management services on a flexible contractor retainer basis, providing proven financial leadership while emphasizing integrity. Barry, I am so excited to talk to you today about Blanton Advisors, as well as all the community work that you do in our community of the Woodlands. You are a dear friend of mine and definitely one of our community leaders. So thank you for being here. And I know we've got some really fun conversation to have.
Well, thanks. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So before we get started, you may know on the show that I always like to start with something good. I think it's important that we kick off the morning with a piece of gratitude or something good that's going on in our lives or our business. So will you start us this morning with anything good that's happening in your world?
Sure. Love to. I think what I would use as my example of something good is the team that I've built around me at Blanton Advisors. And the reason that that's a little bit at the forefront of my mind is that I recently was blessed to be able to take a nice 2-week vacation. We were actually gone for 15 full days. I've never done that in my entire career, but I had a staff that enabled me to do that. And if it wasn't for that great team and their hard work, I wouldn't have been comfortable being gone from my business that long. So I think that's a good thing that we've built something that can run without me having to be around for 2 full weeks. It was nice.
Absolutely, absolutely. And give us just a little snippet. Where did you go?
We spent 2 weeks in Italy.
Oh,
It was an awesome trip. It really was.
amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, I'm glad that you were able to do that. And I know from being one of your clients that your team is also amazing. So I'm sure that your daily gratitude for them happens because they're a great team that runs like a smooth ship. For my something good, it's funny, I hadn't thought of that. So thank you for reminding me that I was able to do the same thing recently and take a group of girlfriends to Austin for an extended weekend. And, in real estate, our weekends are usually our busy season. So my team ran everything really well. But really my something good was, sometimes we forget the power of stepping away from our business just for a few days and spending time with friends that we enjoy being together. And we just had an amazing girls' weekend. So I'm coming off of that and feeling rejuvenated after some really good girl time out in Austin. So
Good for you.
thank you. Thank you. It wasn't Italy, but Austin is a good second, right?
I think I was in Austin the same weekend as you were actually.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
It's a good spot. It is. I'm really excited for you to share with everybody today what it is that you do, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners discount or don't actually give a lot of thought to what it means to hire a CFO consultant or to have somebody really dig into the financials of their business and help them make strategic decisions, reorganize whatever it might be that they're working on to grow as a small, medium to large size business. Because I know you work with a lot of different size companies. To kick us off, will you tell us, in your opinion and based on your experience, what is the benefit for a business to hire a CFO consultant?
Well, I guess that's twofold. Number one, a lot of entrepreneurs aren't comfortable with the financial side of their business. It may not be their favorite part of the business. Even if they're good at it, it's not the highest and best use of their time to be overseeing a bookkeeper or digging deep into the numbers. There are certain things they need to understand but it's not the highest and best use of their time to play accountant.
Right.
And so what we bring to the table is the ability to take some of that financial management side off of the business owner and keep the right kind of information in front of them in financial reporting. But us helping deal with maybe with their staff accountant or maybe with an outsourced bookkeeper or other things like that, where we meet with a business owner on a monthly basis and go over the results and talk about what's this showing us, where are our opportunities, what kind of business decisions can we make based on what we're seeing in these financials. But we can do that and give the business owner the opportunity to do that once a month and then go run his business based on what he learned out of that meeting, and let us worry about closing the month end and answering questions for his bookkeeper and things like that. And we do it on a fractional basis where he doesn't have to hire a CFO.
Right. Which is really beneficial, especially if you are a small business. And when you do this, are you doing this on a monthly basis and then quarterly and annually? And do you partner with their CPA? I know you mentioned bookkeeper. Give us just a little bit more of what does that process look like?
So it can look like different things for different clients. And another aspect of our business is project work. And oftentimes our entree with a client is project work. They've got a pain point. They've got a messy QuickBooks file. They've got a new entity they need to set up. They've got a bookkeeper that left them in a lurch. So those are projects, but we like to turn those into ongoing clients. And back to your question, the ongoing clients, we like to meet with them monthly. Some simpler or smaller businesses we might meet with just quarterly, depending upon the nature of the business and what the moving parts look like. But a lot of business owners aren't in a good habit of sitting down and reviewing financial statements.
Right.
They have their own way to feel how well the business is doing. They may be looking at cash. They may be looking at some kind of report. They probably have it in their head how well they're doing, but that can only go so far. And there's more to be learned from a financial statement than just how much cash you have in the bank or what the bottom line says on your QuickBooks P&L. So we try to dig into some other things like margins and lines of business and things like that. And we like to do it, like we said, monthly or quarterly. And then your question about the CPA, we're not a CPA firm, but we interact with CPAs a lot. And one of the benefits of working with our firm is that we will work to get your books really clean when you hand them off to your CPA for tax preparation. It reduces the pressure, it speeds up the return, and it reduces the amount of questions that a CPA has about your financial statements.
Which we all know is very beneficial. I remember years ago when I hired you to help me with my business, I was really blown away at the things that I learned, and I thought I was involved in my finances. And you guys highlighted such areas that I needed to pay more attention to. You also highlighted trends that were happening that I wasn't even aware of. It was really eye-opening. So yes, and it all the way down to the CPA aspect of things to make the tax process a little bit easier, I think is worth its weight in gold, right?
The trend thing that you mentioned, we use a special kind of a report that we've created, and it's not something you can push a button and quick. It's not rocket science, but it is formatted differently than you can get automatically out of QuickBooks. And it allows you to compare year over year, same month over same month, and the last 6-month trends. And that's where you begin to see some things that if you just look at a single standalone month, you won't see it.
Correct. And that's where, as a business owner, you actually have the data to begin making strategic decisions ahead of time that are more in depth than just a simple P&L, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah. So give us a little bit of information on how your extensive finance knowledge and experience really play a role in the decision of working with certain businesses.
Well, I've got an interesting background and a widely varied background, which I think helps prepare me for this kind of work. We work with all different kinds of small businesses and industries. We have service businesses. We have light manufacturing businesses. We have construction businesses. We've had restaurants. So we do a lot of different things. And I've been a banker. I've been in the housing business. I've been in the manufactured housing business. I've been in the distribution industry. So those kinds of that broad background, I think, has helped me. But when you talk about what the perfect client is for us, I think first and foremost, it's somebody that understands the value in bringing in a resource from outside. Somebody that understands that they don't know everything and can see some value in bringing somebody like you did several years ago with us. And our favorite kind of people to work with are those that want to work with us. And secondly to that, there's a few examples that I use. If a business owner can't answer his banker's questions or can't produce the kind of reports that the banker is asking for, then that's somebody who we could probably help.
Right.
If a business owner can't answer his partner's questions or his investors' questions, or can't understand what the trends are in his business, or why he might have been profitable 3 months ago when he's not profitable now, some of those kinds of things, we may be able to help with that. And for that matter, business owners who don't understand, I'm profitable, but I don't have any cash. That's a very common situation.
Yes.
And the answer to that varies by industry and business, but we can help figure that out.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. What do you think is the most practical solution that you provide to business owners?
Well, I guess that's a good question. I think it's probably the monthly financial reporting that we do. I mean, we do some very practical things as far as QuickBooks cleanup and QuickBooks training and helping bookkeepers and things like that. But as far as the business owner themselves, putting a financial report in their hands that's often tailored to them, we will add certain kind of percentages and we will track specific line items differently for different clients because they're important to that client,
Right.
or they have a specific kind of impact on that business. So our financial reports, while we use a somewhat of a standard format, they all look different. For businesses that are inventory oriented, we look at inventory turn and but some businesses that don't have inventory, they may be labor intensive. We're looking at labor as a percentage of revenue. So we add different items to track. And for some clients, we build a summary dashboard that sits on top of a financial report and has everything in a more condensed reporting format. I guess maybe I sum it up. Our tagline is that we empower entrepreneurs. We want to put information in your hands that allow you to make better business decisions.
Right. And you do. I know from my perspective, I found you guys when I was probably in business for about 10 years. So kind of at the halfway point. And it was so valuable to me to have someone that was not in my daily business review things and give me a completely different perspective. And you did that and then educated me on, totally different things than what my mindset was used to tracking on a monthly basis. And that provided a lot of value to me. And still does.
That is another way to look at it too. When you talk about what kind of value we bring, one of the things is simply a third set of eyes. I mean, you've got an owner's set of eyes and a bookkeeper's set of eyes in your company already,
Yes.
But having a different viewpoint, we ask questions and point out issues with clients. And when the client is brand new, that list can be very long. If we work with a client for a long time, both the business owner and the internal accounting staff learns those things, and that list they become better at answering their own questions because we're empowering them as we go.
Right, 100%. And I think one thing that I've noticed in my business coaching, we as the entrepreneur or the business owner seem to forget that no matter how successful the business may be, there is still a level of emotion and anxiety attached to the finances. And I see it in thriving business and I see it in struggling business. And I think we forget that having that outside perspective can neutralize whatever emotional tie or anxiety we might have to the finances of the business,
Right.
which is where you guys really come alongside the entrepreneur business owner and go, well, I don't know, let's take a different approach at this. Let's see things differently.
Yeah, we think
Um,
so. Thank you.
well, I am grateful for you and your team services. So I'll speak to that on a personal level. You guys have helped me over the years exponentially. I want to switch gears for a minute and really talk about your community involvement. You are such a community leader in the Woodlands, and you and I have worked together over the years on different nonprofits. And I know that here in just a few days, we've got the Leukemia and Lymphoma Light the Night event coming up. So, will you give us a little bit of background on how does the Blanton Bunch take part in leukemia, lymphoma, and how do you really play a role in this mission in our community?
So I need to step back and tell you, and you know the story, but I need to share how we got involved in this organization in the first place. I'm a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma survivor. Did 6 months of chemo almost 18 years ago, 17 years ago. And what I had was never life threatening, but it is considered not curable. It tends to come back over years. As a matter of fact, I just had I do 2-year checkups now, and I just had one a couple of weeks ago, and it was all fine.
Good.
But more importantly than that, I lost my father to leukemia. And there's no genetic relation between those two. Matter of fact, the only similarity between lymphoma and leukemia is that they are both blood cancers, but they're very different. And he had leukemia and I had lymphoma, and there's no reason to believe there's any tie to those things. It's just how life hits us. Though that was our initial entree into the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I learned about it while I was going through my battle. My dad did that not long after me. He had a pretty short battle with leukemia. So our family got involved in that 17 years ago, actually. And we have been raising money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society ever since. One of the things about blood cancers, two main things about blood cancers. One is that early detection, prevention, lifestyle, none of that matters to a blood cancer. You could wake up tomorrow with a blood cancer, be perfectly healthy, has nothing to do with diet, has nothing to do with lifestyle. So since that's the case, the LLS doesn't spend a lot of money on education. The LLS focuses its funds on research for a cure. It's all about funding research. So that's how we spend that money. And I've been involved in that organization. Like I said, our family, you mentioned the Blanton Bunch, that's our team name. And we've raised over $450,000 over the last 15 or 17 years.
Amazing.
And more importantly than that, the Walk in the Woodlands, which I have played different roles in over the years, but the Walk in the Woodlands has raised, I think it's over 10, it might be over $12 million now for blood cancer research. And blood cancer research often leads to other kinds of cancer treatments as well, because the way blood cells replicate in our bodies, it's so central to cell development that a lot of studies for blood cancers lead to treatments for other types of cancers.
It does, and I know I've been involved and supported you guys throughout the
Yes, you
years.
have. Thank you.
Of course, it's such a fantastic event in the Woodlands. I don't know if anyone watching has ever seen it, but we all have our lantern lights and walk the waterway, and there's hundreds, if not 1,000 plus people that walk in honor of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and to raise these funds for research. It is, give us just, I know we haven't had it yet, so give us just a little bit of a tip on if anybody wants to attend. It's Sunday, November 6th.
So the link to our website, my family's website, is on the scroll there, and the walk is on Sunday night, November 6th, and it is at Town Green Park, and there's a great ceremony that and presentation that's pretty memorable and pretty moving. There's a lot of survivors there, and there's a lot of people who have lost loved ones. And then we do walk with the lanterns on it, and it's a real short walk down the waterway, and it's beautiful. There's actually fireworks after it. It's a family-friendly event on a Sunday night. And when we say walk, it's not a foot race, and it's not, it's a leisurely walk. And there'll be thousands of people there.
Yeah.
And so reach out to me. There's details on our family fundraising website. I think it starts at 5:30 or 6 o'clock on Sunday night in Town Green Park on Sunday, November the 6th.
It's an amazing event. It is for anybody watching. If you want to come and attend, and as Barry said, it is very moving, and it's something that brings the community together in such a great way. And the weather should be perfect for it if our forecast stays the same, right? It'll be a great evening.
We hope so.
So tell us just a little bit about, I know that you have been involved with Leadership Montgomery County, and that is another one of our organizations here locally that you have done a ton of work for. You were chairman of the board for many years. Give us an update on what's going on at LMC.
So LMC is a passion of mine. I guess actually that grew out of the fact that that I care a lot about leadership in general. And I believe that we need to develop future leaders. And those of us who are blessed and have been fortunate enough to grow into roles like you have and like I have in this community, we've got some obligation to make sure there's people to come along behind us. And growing future leaders is important. And I like to try to share my life experiences in the realm of leadership. So I actually went through the original Leadership Conroe program many years ago. And then I got back involved with Leadership Montgomery County about 8 years ago. I was on the board for 7 years and chaired it for a couple of years during COVID. But it is a leadership development program that is Montgomery County focused, where you learn a lot about the county and you learn a lot about leadership and you learn a lot about yourself, and you make some great friends. And so one of the exciting things that we're doing, for years, we have talked about adding a second program. That's what we would call our flagship program, Leadership Montgomery County. But we have just in the last 6 months announced Leadership Masterclass. And that is for people who have already been through Leadership Montgomery County. And you have to have gone through it at least 3 years ago. And there was an application time window for our past graduates, our alumni. And we've got the new Leadership Masterclass starts today, as a matter of fact, which so I'll be attending that today for the first time.
How fun. I've got to learn more about that. That sounds great. I know that I agree with you 100%. LMC does a fantastic job, but you do as well on continuing to grow our leadership programs locally for the next generation and for all of us. It's really what makes the Woodlands so special, I think, is the way everyone continues to give back and collaborate with one another. When it comes to the community, Barry, as we wrap up, I am just curious to know, how does the community help with your business network, and what do you guys have for Blanton Advisors on the target for 2023? You know, we haven't talked a whole lot today about the shifting economy that we're in. So I'm sure in your world, you're planning and seeing lots of things with other business owners that are, just getting ready to pivot and plan for 2023 as best we can. What do you guys have planned at Blanton Advisors in and around the community and the business portion?
So on the first part of your question, it is part of our core values to give back. We've talked about that some. And what that does for our business, I don't do community involvement expecting a specific return for my business.
Sure.
And you know that, you don't either. Does it come? Yes, it probably does in a lot of different ways. If for no other, simply by a raised awareness of who we are and what we do.
Right.
But we are in interesting times, and there's a lot of discussion about recession and clearly interest rates and those kinds of things. And from our perspective, it is every single business every one of our clients could be impacted by this, but not all in the same way. And that's one of the things that we're talking to clients about is how might this impact your business? And some people not as bad as others. And so that's one way, and have to be prepared either way. But the nature of the impact will vary depending upon the nature of the industry. So, our current viewpoint is it's probably not a good time. Be careful about taking on debt. Be careful about new ventures that you're not totally confident in. And So those are a couple things that we're looking at. And then on a bigger scale, it's more just about awareness and being ready for what, because I don't know yet what's really going to happen. I don't think anybody does.
No.
I don't think it is going to be as bad as some people may think. I don't think it's going to be anything like 08, 09. And I think there are some financial underpinnings in place that will keep it from doing that. But that doesn't mean that it's not, that some people won't struggle next year or over the next 15 or 18 months. So the biggest thing is be prepared and know how you're going to be ready to make some tough decisions.
Absolutely. And be involved in your finances and know what's going on, right?
Well, now's a good, if you're not looking at your operating results already, you certainly want to be now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Barry, thank you so much. I always love our time together. For anybody watching, if they want to find you, I know that we've got your website. It is blantonadvisors.com. They can reach out and find you there if they are interested in your CFO consulting services and what Blanton Advisors offers. We're obviously on LinkedIn right now, so anybody can find you on LinkedIn as well. And then I will most certainly see you Sunday at Light the Night Walk. And other than that, thank you so much for being here. Please tell your lovely wife I said hello and send my best. And for everyone watching, thanks for joining us today. You can find our next episode Tuesday, November 15th. And as a reminder, we are always on the first and third Tuesdays at 7:30 sharp to rise, shine, and live aligned. And have an amazing day.